G'day, Club 18 stars, and welcome back to the Legends series. This week, we're talking to a giant of the Paran days, a really huge member of the team. We're talking to Geoff Scott, or Jumping Geoff, as he was better known, and he provided a massive presence to the club and provided some really interesting stories on field and off field as well, which makes for really good content in a series like this, let me tell you. So we're going to get him on board and welcome him to the series. Jumping Geoff, well done. Welcome to the series, mate.
Thanks a lot for that intro, Deeks. That's pumping up my tyres. That's nice.
Mate, when we retire, we're 10 years on, whatever it is, mate, we're always pumping up tyres. That's where we are here at headquarters.
Yeah, well, 10 years for you. 7, I think, from me since I last pulled on the boots.
Yeah. So let's talk about it. So that's where I want to open, actually. How many games did you play?
I wanted to say 4 fat ladies, 88.
No.
No, maybe not 88. Maybe close to that, though.
No, 99. 99 games you played.
No. Mate, if I'm on 99, I'm pulling the boots back on and I'm getting out there just to get over the line.
There you go, mate. That's it. That's my first question. That was going to be my last one, but it's good. We can get that in there. So 99 games. So I normally go to the start, but let's go to the finish. When did you finish and why? Why 99 games?
It was, I think it was second game of the season in 2013. And I just won the ruck tap, actually. I think it was a little bit into the first quarter. And won the ruck tap. Someone's kicked it. The opposition's kicked it back on the left-hand side. I've gone to pivot. Who pivots on a footy field? Yeah. Pivots. And then I've just gone down like a sack of spuds, burning pain in my left knee. And then I'm calling for the trainer. No one around. No one touched me. And Hollywood's come over. It was runner that day. And I'm like trying to get up and I'm leaning on him. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, get out there, sort of keep going. And I'm sort of like, no, I need a hand to get off. I'm like, something's wrong. No, I get off to the side of the ground. The trainer, just that season, like second game in, he's sort of doing these tests on the knee and everything. He's like, no, look, I think you've just stretched a few ligaments or something. I think I sat out the rest of that quarter, the second quarter, but I was feeling okay. And I went on in the third quarter. And started out there. And I think the first time I went to change direction and my whole, the top of the leg just sort of wobble. And I've just gone, no, something's wrong. And I've just jogged back off. And that was it. That was the last time I was, out on the field for Paran. So,
gee whiz, mate. Did you get the name of that? Get the name of that trainer? Because if he ended up becoming a physio, make sure we don't go and see him.
I reckon he was a physio.
They never were.
I don't remember his name, but yeah. Then I ended up going on to get misdiagnosed by the actual physio I went to see, and so it was ages before I worked out it was actually my ACL that was done. But yeah.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. Well, there you go. That's quite interesting. So 99. So if you've got it years later, hopefully it's recovered, and you've got the chance to go and get the 3 figures, mate.
Oh, it has. To be honest, this season I was sort of had this inkling. I remember listening to Cougs' video, and he was saying he went back years later, and then now he realises why he retired, and that's my concern. It's like, I'd love to pull our jumper back on and get back out there. And to be honest, my footy bag is still actually packed in the cupboard, ready to go. It's serious. So it's got the footy boots, the socks, the jumper. Well, actually, I don't have the jumper, but everything else is in the kit, ready to go. And I just haven't had the heart to unpack it and tear it all down.
Mate, I'm sure the boys would welcome you back because I think you'd still go pretty well these days. You're a very fine athlete when you're in your playing days, so I'm sure you still are.
Well, actually, the only encouraging sign is that Mordo would probably actually be older than me and still out there.
There you go. So, and if not, Craig Berger's about 58, I think, so he's always going to be older than you.
Is he still running around out there too?
Yeah, apparently. Yeah. I think he's trying to retire from work before he retires from football. All right, let's go to the start. You started in 2001. How'd you get to the club?
Yeah. David Green got me down, actually. Yeah, he recruited me after seeing me play netball. So corporate games, we both worked for the same company. We were playing in the same corporate games team together. And I'm not quite sure what he saw in my ability there on the netball court. I'm pretty sure I didn't take anyone out that day. But, he sort of got my ear and said, how about you come down? And I'd had a bit of an inkling I'd like to get back into footy. I'd only played it in my junior days, and then I segued to become an umpire for years and years. I started umpiring, actually. I don't know if you know Sean Ryan, the AFL umpire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd done 300-plus games out in the AFL. Yeah, I started out and I was boundary umpiring with him and his twin brother and, a whole bunch of people down Warrnambool. So, but that was my first sort of real foray back into football, was with the Two Blues, and, never looked back after that.
Yeah. And your first game was a famous game too.
Yes, yeah. We had a win against Zavs, which at the time didn't really mean anything to me. But, geez, the import of that win that day really came home, ever since that point in time. But, that was a pretty big day in the end.
Yeah, I think you kicked a goal from memory too in your first game, didn't you? Played a full forward.
Yes, yeah. So clearly, Mickey G, coach at the time, didn't realise that I too was a shit kick and had put me up forward. Actually, I don't know where Cougar was that day. Like, why wasn't he lining up at full forward that day? I don't know. Unless I was in the forward pocket alongside him. Yeah, I'm not sure. But anyway, I was lined up in the forward line because I was tall, looked like a target, I guess. Kicked a goal. I think it was off the ground. So, maybe that didn't really show off the fact that I didn't have a great kick.
Yeah, that's right. Well hidden.
Although I'm not sure that I got to line up at full forward again after that. So I think I then quickly got shuffled into the back line.
You had the back line after that, did you? Because you didn't go straight to the ruck. You became a famous ruckman for our club, but you didn't go there for a little while.
No. I did my first season, majority of it was in the back line. Actually, I'm not even sure when my first game was in the ruck or who the coach was that, recognised that I might be handy in the ruck. Was that you that first threw me into the ruck, Deeks?
No, I wouldn't have been. I wasn't coach. I was in the centre with you. So I remember the day clearly. I remember the moment clearly you first went to the ruck. So we were playing against De La Salle at the Waverley Road Oval near Dairyville.
Yeah.
And you came up, and so it must have been the next year, which would have been Ivac then coaching potentially. Because it was a life-changing sliding doors moment for the footy club. The moment you went to the ruck, because we've always had good ruckmen in our team, in our club, like Kyra, Nige, yourself, and mate, you were up in amongst that audience well and truly. But I remember you walked up, and we were in the centre on that oval, and you said, "What do you want me to do?" And I said, "Mate, just tap it to. I'll go through the voice and tap to there." He goes, you said, "No. What do you want me to do? I've never done this before in my life." Oh, shit. I said, "Right, mate, the ball's going to be up there. You'll be looking that way. I'm going to scream. I'll be over here and I'll be screaming your name, right? Hit where you hit a voice." And you went that far up above your opponent and put it straight here, mate. You put it right on the emblem. And I thought, you. And everyone's gone, "We're on here. This is it." So do you remember that day?
No, actually. I don't, no recollection at all of that first time, except I don't know if Cougs, like the only person who ever really gave me rucking advice was Cougs. And the only thing that he was telling me, and maybe it was that first day, was just keep my knee up. You're jumping at it like a basketballer, keep your knee up. Which was probably a couple of years later where that really paid dividends. And I don't know, I'll segue into that story quick. But I can't even remember the side we were playing against. But the ruckman for the opposition was late to the contest. He'd come sprinting in off the bench or something. Obviously, it made the square just in time because it wasn't an infringement, but just came barreling into the ruck contest. And then he's jumped because the ball's in the air. But you can see that he was a bit late coming in and he sort of cannonballed. So he sort of got into a cannonball, but I've got my knee up just to protect, And then he's crashed into my knee, and then he's gone down on the ground in front of me. And then I've, ruck contest, I think I've won it. Then after that, I've gone down, I started berating him, I was sort of finger pointing, what the hell are you doing, et cetera, et cetera. And he's there on the ground, he's like, I've gotten him with the knee right in the rib cage, and he's down, and so And then he was all apologetic, right? Like he's sucking in all this breath. Oh, sorry, So, yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't do that again to you, mate. I wouldn't have thought.
Like, good advice from Coogs there, yeah.
Yeah, well, very good advice from the Cougs. But, mate, yeah, no, that was what happened that day at Waverley Road. And you just become this behemoth. And the ruck, because your athleticism is so good, and that's what Greeny would have seen you on the netball court. And I've played a couple of years in netball with you. So your leap is astonishing. So, yeah, that was really stood out. But I reckon that same day, because Greeny got sent off. Greeny got sent off a game, and I reckon it was the same day because it was on the same ground. So I reckon that was it. Greeny,
Yeah, really?
David Green got sent off the football field by the umpire.
Sorry, what did Greeny get sent off for?
Oh, I don't know. I think he abused the umpire. I reckon that would have been as much as it. Yeah, he did. He got sent off.
I can't believe he would abuse the umpire.
I can't remember what he did, but I'll get him on one day and we'll find out what it was. But he got sent off. And the funny thing was, it cost us a goal and pretty much the game at the end. Like, it was really close and that was an important goal. But I remember we were all sniggering because Greeny's got sent off. Like, because even though we're about to lose the game, we thought there's a bigger moment in this.
Oh, that's a story. Yeah, you've got to get that one out of him then. If someone's gotten under Greeny's skin, that's saying something.
Oh, yeah, very, that's right. So, mate, you get the hand over to you for what's some of your favourite memories that come out of your playing days? What's stuck out for you?
You know what, I reckon the best memory that I've got from my days would be the 50th. So when I played my 50th game, and it was getting down there to the club and just being recognised for that 50th game, and the fact that the guys had gone to a bit of an effort to sort of recognise, acknowledge it, and completely unaware. Hell, I'm not even sure I knew it was my 50th coming up. But, the footy socks, the Uncle Toby's sponsorship, just sort of going all out. And and it wasn't all my day either, because people were doing something because it was Holly's 100th, 150th.
Yeah,
he had a big milestone game that day too. So we're both celebrating a milestone. But yeah, just the way in which the club acknowledged that and sort of, really got behind you. So that one was one of my favourites. But, there's so many. And in the other interviews, they've all touched on it. The Viking outing. Yeah, I don't know why. I was looking over some of the old photos I've got, and there's an old one of you wearing a Viking helmet and a G-string. I don't know if that's going to get thrown up for everyone to have a bit of a look at and sharing, or if it's been...
Yeah, I hope not. Let's hope not. It's your episode.
And Braveheart that day getting out there. And I think all that happened in my first season, yeah? And so
it did. It did. Mickey G. It was your first season with Mickey G's year, and that's when that all happened.
And that, and that really cemented my relationship with the club. We've got events like that going on, and it's just, craziness and shenanigans, and everyone's enjoying their footy. But, I think the catch cry of "we're all mates" just sort of, rang through year after year, and was very much, one of those sort of catch cries all the time. But it was on the field, off the field. I love things like beer and bingo and, the corks. I don't know if we did the corks for a few years. Was it Stores who might have gotten us onto that? That was gold, and things like the blue food dye. I don't know who first did a blue food dye, Brank.
That'll come up in future episodes, but Butsy was the first one who actually got it, brought it to the attention of everyone. He brought it to the club.
Oh, really? There you go.
Yeah, up in Byron Bay. He got that first going, and then that became a behemoth on its own, didn't it?
Oh, too right. Yes, that was everything. Weren't people even getting done blue food dye out the game, out of drink bottles, and maybe a step too far, but yeah.
No. It's not a step too far because it was Butsy who got done. That's not too far, mate. He deserved that. That was in his 50th, I reckon.
Yeah. You always had to be on your guard, didn't you? Oh. It was probably Scotty Hayward delivering the blue food dye drink bottle, was it? Storer was
running that day. He mustn't have been playing, but he was running it out to him, and it had special tape around it so we knew which one was his. And he's drinking, and he had no idea. And his opponents looked at him and kept going, "What's wrong with you, mate?" Terrific fun. Yes. So yeah, no, that was big. That all again. And you're a non-drinker, right? So this would
Yeah.
There's a big announcement for everyone watching this, because everyone just assumes that everyone who plays at our club just gets on the gas pretty hard, which, look, it's 99.6% probably do, and you're probably the 4.4, and so you're a non-drinker. So it changed everyone's habits. So everyone's gone from just drinking a stubby. They have to always check and go just like that every time. It changed our lives.
That's right. But yeah, we used to do slab duty, and I don't know. I used to bring like a slab of Coke, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been handy.
Well, actually, to be honest, I think some of the guys were, not all that into having a beer post-match. It was sometimes a little bit too much. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that just shows, mate, we're an all-inclusive club. We're not, it's not just one-way traffic only. So it's everyone gets it, whatever they need. And everyone's that's easy. So that's good. So what have we got here? So in terms of your ruck work, we're touching on your ruck work a bit, because it was unbelievable, and how your athleticism was beyond anyone's. That really came to the fore one day when you rucked against, of all time, this guy's played his one game or his first game, however it worked out, but you rucked against, I don't know, what did he win? Australian Olympic bronze medal?
Yeah, I think that's right. I think it was a bronze medalist.
Tim Forsyth. You've rucked against
Forsyth himself. Yeah.
What are your memories of that day?
Well, I don't know who was coach that day. Was that?
I reckon Ivac. Be Ivac's year or Laz? Be Ivac or Laz?
Well, someone made the decision that I'd then play on him all day. So he and I both started in the ruck that day, and then I think he moved forward. And it was like, no, you move forward, play on him, stick on him all day. So I got to have a bit of a chat with him, actually. He was actually a pretty good bloke.
Yeah. Do you remember the start of the match? Do you remember how you went in the ruck against him?
I do, actually, yeah. So the very first ruck contest went up, and I'm just like, I know I'm going to have to put in a good jump here. So I've taken off for the ball. We both trapped it at the height of the arc, but he had more momentum behind me, sat me on my ass in that first ruck tap. Yeah, for that very first one. But we had quite a few tussles around the ground in ruck contests, which was good. But, I don't think he ever really had the better of me, which is, I was sort of holding my head up at least. Although he did sort of get in my ear and let me know that he might have been carrying a niggling injury. But
after the fact, mate, after you'd beaten him.
Yeah, that's right. So
my memory of that day, Jumping Geoff, was I didn't realise that first one. So you know that better because you were in there at the time, right? But my memory was all the dealer on ballers are sitting behind you, because they're thinking, we've got an Olympic bronze medalist here about to jump up in the ruck. So it's not going that way. They're all lined up behind you, expecting a win. Evie, to my memory, was the only one who stayed on the other side, ready for you to win it. And my memory is you won 3 times, straight down to him, and we got 3 goals out of it. So we're 3 goals in that match early.
Well, I won't call you a liar, but I don't recall it that way. Maybe the ball spilled forward after we trapped it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. I'm certain I wouldn't have let it go past me, but yeah.
Yeah. So if that first one happened, that may have, but after that, you've clearly beaten him to the only on-baller who's on that side, which was Evie. And Evie was a handy on-baller having too, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right. No, there's so many good on-ballers, actually. Yeah, I mean, the story would be first and foremost, but yeah, Evie, I mean, look, even yourself running around there. In the middle, too many to name, to be honest. Even players later, like Huss, when he came along, and he was fantastic. Terry Lucas running through the middle, he was amazing, like so good with the talk. And to be honest, I really responded best to those who got in my ear and would sort of just call for it. If they demanded it, I sort of gave it to the person who was the loudest voice. Yeah.
Pretty simple formula, isn't it? Like if you're looking up at the sky and the loudest voice is calling out to you, that's what you're going to do, isn't it? So anyone who's playing today, these days, use that as a lesson. I can't believe how many people don't talk in a footy field.
Yeah. The only other thing about every ruck contest was Stores always started in front of me, facing me in the contest, and I pretty much looked at him, and he'd always just give me a subtle finger point, just left, right. I mean, I only had 2 moves, right? I either hit it forward to the left or forward to the right. And so he'd call it most times. So he'd be probably the only one who knew where it was going before the ball went up. But
Yeah, it was a remarkable, wasn't it? Because he would run, he'd face you, and he'd run back towards the opposition goal and then do an arc. And that year, when that was really in play, because you'd win most taps, he'd win nearly every roving off you. I was playing off half back, and it'd be just the same routine. Time after time, I'd run off, I'd just sprint off, and then he'd be there and handball off. And you go, surely someone's going to figure this out soon. But
I reckon where it came to its fore, though, was the year that you coached us in the grand final, and we came out from half time after you've given us a bit of a rev up. We were down, I reckon we were down 5 goals going in.
37 points, Geoff. 37 points.
37. And we just came out fired up. I reckon I won about 5 taps in a row, straight down Storer's throat, and he's just wheeled, delivered it forward. I'm sure it's Cougs or Butsy on the other end of it each time, just converting it. And I'm pretty sure we clawed back sort of 5 goals in very quick succession to sort of bring us back into contention going into the last.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we were, a goal down going into the last that day?
Correct.
Because I remember you saying as much, because you were actually pretty happy about us being just a goal down, thinking that, that meant we still had to stay on. And I thought, geez, even in that last quarter, didn't they lose a player? Weren't they playing 17?
Yeah, I think so. I think a bloke got sent off early.
Yeah.
In that
maybe
quarter.
he came back on late.
Yeah, but, and then we got in front.
And then, we were in front in the last, which was impressive after the way we'd finished the half.
Mm-hmm.
But not to go on with it, I mean, it just rips your heart out, doesn't it? I don't know how it feels as coach on that day, Deeks. Maybe you can tell us. But, as a player, gutted.
Oh, it was awful. It was awful. But you can't think that no one left anything out on the field. So the fact that the comeback from where it was to where we were, like the second quarter was horrific. It was the worst quarter of football we played all year. But then the effort thereafter was beyond. So you couldn't actually be upset with the effort.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate the way it finished.
Well, maybe, did you play in 2 grand final wins?
Yep.
Yeah. So never, like for 99 games, never to play in a grand final winning side, and just to be so close so many times.
Yeah. Yep.
Was it the year after that Laz took over?
No, Bergs took over from me. So Laz coached before me. I coached 04 to 06, and then Berger and Raki came down the year after. We played in the grand final that year as well.
Laz was the year that we went out in the prelim, I think.
No, we made the grand final with Laz. We made the grand final with Laz. We went in the prelim, under one of my years. So 2000, actually 2 of my years. Actually went out in the first one prelim, and the second one we were up at 3/4 time, heavy win, St Kevin's. They went on to win it. I beat Zaz.
Oh, there was another prelim where it was Dealar, wasn't it, that beat us?
No, we beat Dealar in.
Did we beat them in the first semi?
We beat Dealar with Laz. Faz kicked the late goal to win it. But we lost to Mazenot, I think, in the previous year in 04. They were far too good for us that day.
I didn't think they were far too good for us. I remember us being, I thought it was under Laz. I thought we lost to Zavs in the first semi, and we were all about how we were going to turn it around in the grand final. But I think we were overlooking the fact we had to win the prelim first.
Yeah. Because the Dealar prelim with Zav, with Faz kicking the goal, but Laz coaching was a good win, a real good win for us actually. Anyway, that's well, we can speculate on that for hours, but it's probably not good content for our viewers.
Yes.
Now, you were renowned in your playing days for turning up late to every game. Now, I've already touched on the fact that you're a non-drinker. So normally you're given a reason or excuse because someone's been out in the sauce the night before, they've got home at 4 a.m., whatever it might be. It's generally pretty standard excuse why people are late. What was your reason? Why were you ever late every week?
Well, I don't really have a good reason. I mean, my footy bag was already packed. Like it's packed now, ready to go for the next game. It was already packed at the start of every game. I think I always just thought, it takes this long to get to the ground. I probably actually lived closer than most people too. Just bad time management. I mean, maybe it came about because we didn't have that Wake Up Geoff roster in place. so, so I don't know whose idea it was to institute the Wake Up Geoff roster, but I think I was reading the match report. No, I think I wrote the match report that year as like, I think we had a season where the mystery scribe went around. So I got stuck into myself for being always late and everything. And it was Scotty Haywood, I think, who had to call me that first game because I was doing a bit of a reread of this match report. But yeah, no, it was terrible form. I do remember one game. Most games I rocked up at least before the first quarter, but there was one under Ivac's coaching where I showed up maybe 10 minutes into the quarter. I'll blame my girlfriend at the time for that, but yeah, it's Ivac saw red that day.
Yeah, no, it's fine. If a lot of people turn up late, Geoff, that's fine, but you're the ruckman, so you're supposed to touch the ball first out of everyone out there, right?
Yes.
So yeah, it's just remarkable. Like, it just didn't make sense for us. Anyway, that's that. But so I want to stick with the non-drinking for a bit because I've got a vivid memory because I'm going to go off the field now to footy trips. So I remember someone gave you on a footy trip. Someone gave you a vodka lemonade one day. We're in the ISO bar.
That was Rhino.
Was it Rhino? Might have been Rhino. I had Blakey in mind, but so it's got to be something. I'm close to the source if it's Rhino. And you didn't like it. You were quite angry from memory.
Okay, to be honest, I don't recall. I vaguely remember something about questioning what Rhino was drinking, and he said, "Oh, it's a vodka lemonade," and I was like, "Oh, this doesn't look like a vodka lemonade. Why would I question? Why, in hindsight, would I even question what he was drinking? Of course, it's alcoholic. Of course, and it's a footy trip. I mean, the only one not drinking was me, but
yeah. But someone spiked your drink, and I remember you going, "Who put vodka in my drink?" And I thought, and I'm thinking at the time, when you have a vodka in a nightclub, you can hardly taste the vodka. I think, how does he know? But of course you don't, because you don't drink vodka. You don't drink.
I honestly don't recall that, but yeah.
Because my memory from that night was things got a little bit out of control for you after that. And sorry, I just need to have a bit of a break. I haven't eaten dinner, so I'm going to have a little snack. Little snack here, mate, just to get by. I'm not sure if you've ever had one of these before.
I have actually, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Maybe not while I was in Tasmania, but
no. Well, so you've touched on it before. So the footy, your 50th game was sponsored by Uncle Toby's, right? And here we are with an Uncle Toby's apricot muesli bar, right? And I got the special thing. We made the order from Woolies online to make sure we got them this week for your interview. But it's an interesting thing how life lessons turn out. So when you're watching this and you think, what would my life be like as a non-drinker versus a drinker? This is a real good good insight into what it'd be. So Geoff had 1/2 sip of vodka and things went a bit haywire for the young man on the night. So that's what we can work it out. But let's go to a scenario here, Geoff, and I'll let you add into your version shortly. But Stores and I were sharing a room. And Hobart was a loose trip. Like there was just out of control. That was out of probably really loose one. But at one stage,
Yeah, Nige was my roommate in that trip, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Would have been good to be seen him then. Little Greenie came in, Junior Davies came in, Rhino came into our room, and so we were up just chatting to them. This is 6 a.m. They just got in.
Yeah.
And we're chatting away, and then you walk in. And so do you remember what happened next?
Yeah, I do. I remember getting Little Greenie, and I'm under the spotlight, getting grilled as to where I'd been. And then I'm having to give back quick fire answers. It was all, I seem to recall he was reveling in the whole, detective role, shining the spotlight.
Yep.
And so I needed quick fire answers. Obviously, you're under interrogation. If you have to think about it, obviously you're lying. So I'm sort of quick firing answers back at him, and yeah.
I think I answered questioning.
Oh, it was probably along the lines of something about where have I been and, what are you doing and so forth. And I'd actually already been back. I'd been back at the hotel for quite some time. If it was 6 a.m, you're saying, I reckon I'd been back for hours.
Likely story. So how it went for the viewers out here, how it went, right? So it was, where have you been? And you answered to get some food.
Yes.
And they've gone at this hour, because these boys have been out everywhere. They've been to all sorts of nightclubs at that stage, whatever they could find. And they said, at this hour, where'd you go? And I think you said 7-Eleven around the corner or something? Or a convenience store?
No, I think I said I'd gone out for food or something, a bit hungry, a bit peckish.
Yeah. And they said, what did you get to eat? And you said, it
was an apricot. No, I think I said muesli bar. Greenie's followed up with, what type of it? And I think I said apricot. Then he's like,
and then what did he ask?
Chewy or crunchy?
Chewy or crunchy? And what did you say?
So, and chewy, and I think you're holding Exhibit A as a chewy apricot muesli bar. So.
It is. So I didn't know. So whatever you said, and they're called liar. They don't make chewy. And you went to water. And they may have made them, but our memory was, no, they only make crunchy. You went to water, and you're unlucky because they obviously clearly do.
Yeah, they did. They certainly gave it to me, and that followed me for a bit of time after that. Yeah.
Oh, it certainly did. And as you said, your 50th game, sponsored by Uncle Toby's, and it was just a thing. So as I said, 1.5 sip of vodka that night, and just all your line with your teammates, and that's what life can be like. So don't take up drinking, Geoff. I don't want to see that side of you ever again. It was.
Well, I'm glad then that I didn't drink on the trip or didn't get my drink spiked. There was one trip in Byron coming back, and Reese was. Maybe this is going too far. Maybe you need
I can always edit things out, mate.
He's insisting on a cock off. I don't know if you were there that day. I mean, this did not happen. But that was hilarious.
My next question, so it's not too far, because my next question was, you mentioned another prop on your 50th game, footy socks. Tell us why. Why were the footy socks there?
Why were the footy socks? I don't think it's really for me to say why the footy socks were there. I just had a bit of a reputation around the club, I guess.
Yeah, no, you certainly did. You had more than a reputation, because I'm not sure if you remember, but there's certain blokes, if you went to have a shower after a game, I'm not sure if you realise this, but there's certain blokes who wouldn't go in there with you. They'd wait. They'd walk in, see you there, they'd turn back and go, I'm not going in there while he's in there.
I've heard Howie say that, but surely this is all in jest.
No, it's not. It's not.
Are you serious?
No, he would clearly come out and go, I'm not going in there while Geoff's in there. It breaks blokes' hearts, but no. So
I was going to say, surely I'm not the one to worry about. I'm not the one pissing on other people's feet in the showers, wasn't that?
No, that's right. No, thank goodness you would have flooded them. But look, it's better than being the other way around, mate. So, but Rhino had a terrific name for you. So it was born off the Adelaide footballer, and he used to call you Graham John Jeffcock.
That's right, yes. I remember him letting loose with that quite a few times out on the footy.
Still does, mate. Every time your name comes up, that follows. Deservedly so. So that's good, mate. As I said, good reputation to have.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never argued with it, but
no,
sure.
Why would you? So that's all good. So tell us about some of your favourite characters, mate. Who are some of the favourite characters you loved having a company of around the club?
Oh, there's been so many guys that have already been named in past episodes. I was partly thinking I really wanted to give a sing out to a lot of the unsung heroes, which is a lot of the other ruckmen, to be honest. You know, the likes of Andy Carroll. You know, loved running around with him. Nige obviously stepped into the ruck quite a lot. Adrian Blake. So the other Blakey.
Yep.
Trav Jackson running around in the middle as well. So, I mean, I'm sure there's so many other names I'm forgetting going through the ruck, but yeah, you know, just having someone to split those ruck duties with was always a welcome relief. And I think, to be honest, they probably also breathed a sigh of relief when I showed up, even if it was late, just so that they knew they didn't have to shoulder the burden the whole game themselves.
Yeah.
But, look, and just in terms of the backline guys that I started out with, like I said, I started out in the backline. You've got your CJ Morto, who's been there forever. Rhino, he had fabulous kicking. Love the way he kicked in. Not that he'd ever kick it into me, but I think I was always the decoy on the lead. It's always Coogs, Butsy would be sort of you lead that way, and I'm trying to take as many people as I could with me, and pick out one, which fair enough too. Yeah, I mean, but playing with Stores in the middle, can't go past that. I mean, Evie. So many players recognised for so many different things.
Yeah. And your mate David Green, tell us about Greenie.
I always remember Greenie as Mr. Beer and Chips. I don't know if you remember him singing the club theme song. Yes, would never sing the words as everyone else remembered them. Would always be beer and chips and things that count. Yeah.
That's right.
But great player who was sort of cruelled by injury. I would have loved to have seen him out there more often. So it was a pity. But he also brought down a number of players too. Obviously his brother and Mal Cook and
Andy Wilson.
But he was great to play alongside.
Yep. A couple months come down, didn't he?
Yeah.
Terrific footballer, mate. He was a silky player. Beautiful player.
Yes.
So, Geoff, what would you do if you came back for your career? What would you do the same, and what would you do different?
What would I do the same, and what would I do different? Jeez, okay, that's a question I wasn't expecting. Look, what I would do different, I think I'd get to games a bit earlier. Yeah? I hear that people do a bit of warm-up and...
Listen to the coach, what the plans are for the day, maybe?
Yeah, that's right. Well, I pretty much knew where I was going to be lining up. I just had to confirm that when I first got there. What would I do the same? Look, I'd be coming back and playing for the Two Blues every time. I mean, fantastic. You could not have asked for a better team camaraderie and everything else. I mean, this is why I'm sure this is why Morto's turning up year in, year out. I mean, it's fantastic. It was a fantastic group of people to be around. And I mean, a lot of that came down to people like yourself, like Stores, Kotzi, people who were doing all of this heavy lifting in the background and doing a lot of the organising, like the beer and bingo events. And I mean, even I'm sure it was probably Mick O'Day, the whole Braveheart thing and Rhino with the Viking thing. It was all these sorts of elements that different people brought to the club. It made it fantastic to be around, and why even now I'm thinking about trying to pull on the boots again and get back out
there. How old are you?
44.
Okay, that's good. Good footy number 44. So that works.
Did you play in 44? Did you?
No. I'm just saying it's a good footy number. A lot of good players have played in 44. John Platten, Richard Osborne. It's been a few players there. Number 44?
And I always wore, I didn't always, but most of my playing career was wearing number 26. Who I don't know who the famous players are wearing 26, but.
Yeah, give me one. Cale Hooker as well. I can give you at the moment. That's not too outstanding.
Cale Hooker's not a bad.
David Rees-Jones. David Rees-Jones. Here you go. He's a better Norm Smith medalist. He was 26.
Really? No, I'm an Essendon supporter though, so I'll go Cale Hooker every time. So.
There you go. Well, what a great year that was for the Bombers they put together. So what else have we missed, Geoff? What else have we missed in your story?
Oh, so many things. Carey and remember the Channel 7 story? Yeah, when was it Hutchie coming down to do the interview and we've got the TV cameras and everything there? That was a memorable day out.
Yeah.
Coog's 100th goal. I mean, delivering. So I'm not sure how many people remember. I was actually the one that delivered him the kick on that day. I'm sure he probably doesn't remember, but I remember getting the ball and Scotty Haywood was running past screaming for the handball. And I was like, there's no way I'm giving up this opportunity in order to deliver it to Cougar for the 100th goal. And I'm not a great kick, as I've already alluded to, but my strategy in kicking to Cougar was just literally to kick the ball as high as I could in the air into the forward line, just so that he could get under it. And I'm sure when he was getting under it, that he probably had two guys smashing into him, but just, his strength, stands his ground, marks the ball, goes back, slots it with his unusual kicking style.
Yeah. And everyone pats you on the back and says, good pass.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He makes you look good, doesn't he? Just getting on the end of those, I'll tell you what.
So you talked about your kicking, fair enough, but you still back your own kicking ability better than Scott Hayward loose running past.
I can kick it in the ball. I can kick the ball in the air as well as anyone. And Cougs is going to make you look good, like you said. So it was a bit of a no-brainer, really, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but I think everyone wanted to be doing it that day.
Yeah, true. Amazing performance. He only played 13 games for that 100 goals.
Yeah, I saw that in his interview, and I found that I didn't remember that. I hadn't worked out the average, but amazing. Was Butsy playing alongside him that year too?
Oh, yeah, Butsy would have been there.
How was Butsy not stealing more goals off him that year? I can't. Yeah.
I'm wondering whether Butsy was at a centre forward, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Butsy would have been there because it's Ivac's year.
Yeah, they were an amazing presence, those two guys lining up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, superb, wasn't it? Superb.
But you talk about memories. Nige, the day that he's been selected as captain, and everyone who's sort of seen these podcasts now, I guess, know that we were going the wrong way that day. But obviously, as we were lining up, we didn't. I was lining up to take the ruck tap that day, and I seem to remember the opposition ruckman is standing opposite me. So maybe he started beside me, and he's like, well, hang on, why is this guy standing beside me? He might have swiveled around and run against. But I remember going up for that ball. I remember punching it down. Well, Cougs was saying Jimmy Zizi. I thought it went through a couple of hands before maybe it got to Jimmy Zizi.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the opposition even touching the ball.
No.
It was just bang, 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 through for the goal. Well, turns out to be a point. And then it was just chaos. It was everyone's going every which way. Classic though. I'm hoping that you get a chance to interview Nige and, at least get his account. But I'm sure he just, brain fade between the centre and coming back to us.
Yeah. So you've actually gone into a section here that I want to probably announce to the crew and I think there's moments like this you've just called out. So you called out some three really special moments there that we're actually going to do a bit of a shorter version of these series at some point where it's the legendary moments campaign, I suppose, or part of it, that you actually pick out a moment in time, get a couple of the key people together and just talk about it, 3 or 4 people together talking about that moment. So we'll do some short little grabs on those as we go forward. We'll do those through the eras, like through the 80s, 90s, and through to today as well. We'll do some funny moments or some key moments in time. So that'll definitely be up front early, I would think.
Yeah, of course.
Nigel will be happy with. So that's good. So tell me about your next game, mate. When's it going to be? Next season?
Well, I'd love it, to be honest. I was partly thinking that maybe we should be having a pre-season match with past legends, pulling the boots back on and maybe going up against the current crop.
Yeah, okay. You reckon we'd be a chance, do you?
Well, no, not at all, but it'd be a casual day. It was a good chance for the old boys to connect with the new side.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I'd rather
maybe
take
pull a few hamstrings.
I'd rather have an off-field. That's where probably we have better play. Well, that's good. So you might have to, with your 100 game though, Geoff, you might have to make your own banner up and introduce yourself to your teammates as you run through it.
Well, maybe Mordo would help me out. He's probably the only. Surely there's some others running around with that I played with. Maybe.
Yeah,
I did play some games with Bergs, so.
Yeah, that's right. All right, mate. Well, we might wrap it up there. Have you got any final words or last things you'd like to say?
I didn't get to do my the AFL player I compared to. I had someone ready in the can, ready to go. I was going to roll out with Dustin Fletcher. I thought I always saw myself as more as a backman.
Yeah.
So and sort of coming from behind the long arm of the law.
Yeah, long arm. Okay. Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah, and who was it that was saying they played their junior game against Mickey G? Wasn't he? He cleaned up Dustin Fletcher, I think it was.
Yeah.
and saying that he was rucking too, I think, in juniors. So there you go. I didn't know he was a ruckman in his day as well.
No, he'd do whatever he wanted in juniors, I think.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Mm.
And it was his longevity as well, yeah? So
there you
I
go.
probably didn't make it to 44 or 45, maybe I'd be if I pulled the boots on again.
Yeah, I was going to say, you haven't played all the way through there. He probably a bit more longevity or some consistency through his playing days, I would have thought, in terms of getting games out.
Yes.
Good. Good, mate. Well, mate, that's awesome. So thanks very much for tonight. I think it's sort of, as I said, your feats on the field, where you came as a really handy player, good athlete, and then it all changed the day we played against D last Cell, and you jumped into the ruck, and it just changed the complexion of our whole team. And all of a sudden, you're up there and winning the tap, convincing every time, and off we went. We had a kick-ass midfield underneath you, and that we were very successful once you got in the ruck. So your playing days, mate, they were awesome. Your antics off field, your sponsorships you're able to attract to the club are fantastic as well. But mate, you're certainly in the conversations. As I said, we had some great ruckman in our time with Gora and Nige and all the other blokes you've mentioned on the way through as well. But you're up there amongst the best of the best as well. So to be proud of yourself. So thanks
very kind to say.
Congratulations on a terrific career with at least one to go. And
Yes.
thanks for chatting to me today, mate.
Thank you very much, Deeks. It's been an honour to be invited along to our chat. So I look forward to seeing a lot more in this series too.
Yeah, mate, we do too. We're having a bit of fun here, so a lot more people roll through this soon enough. So thanks, Jumping Geoff. You, mate, are a clubby legend. Good on you, mate.
Thanks, Deeks. Cheers.